up above the genset. Basically, you have fuel. Now let me get this over more so we can see it. Basically, you have a tank outside that supplies fuel to our tank, and then the fuel cooler. In fact, I have two pictures. Here's the side view, and here's the fuel cooler above the genset. So basically, we take fuel from the top of the genset, go through the fuel cooler, and come back into the tank, just like I said in here. And then they have to be able to, the outside tank has to be able to pump fuel to the inside tank. And so that's all part of the, how they're gonna wire all that in.
Yeah, I was still trying to figure that part because I haven't got formal training yet. So we got the 35K tank, and we also got the other 4 tank, 10, 12, 20, 10 and 10, 12 and 12,
Okay.
and the 35K. So.
Okay. If you go over in the spec here, we talk about the Eaton motor starters, and this is a list of the motor starters that between me and Matt we came up with. I supplied the ones for the radiators and for the Bricos fuel filters or exhaust filters, and also for the building utility that comes in. And the motor starters that are all tied into here, Matt has gone through and listed which ones they feed. Like the ones here, there's 4 safety switches, and these fit on the disconnects for the radiators. And this is the technical information on there. This shows the motor starter disconnects. These are for the radiators 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we also have 12 of one type of motor starter and 8 of another. The 12 goes for the DPFs and the charge air coolers, and the 8 go for the radiators. Because a lot of them, there's 4 radiators, but there's 2 fan motors. So you have to have a motor starter for each one. And then these are non-fused. The ones for the DPFs and the ones for the CACs are non-fused disconnects. And then there's also the ones with the fused disconnects. And he has the fused information in there too. So that's just basically the motor starters that are all tied into that system. So we run a run relay. So when the engine starts, it tells these motor starters to close. And when they close, then they tell all of the fans to come on, all the Ripos reach-in elements that are inside that have to heat up, that all has to close. And so that's what those are. The other thing that we have on here, the Ripos filters have a transformer, and there's 2 transformers for each Ripos, and they control, there's 2 elements inside the Ripos that control they have doors that open and close, and they also have heater elements. And there's 2 sets of those, so you need a transformer for each one. And if you look right here at the schematic, basically you bring 480 volts in, and it runs it into an AC transformer. And if you look on here, you can see that there's a transformer here and here. And you have 480 volt coming in, feeding it, and then the output coming out of the Ripos filter is 72 volts DC. You have a safety ground, you have 200 volts low and 200 volts high. And I believe that's DC also, and then you have 12 volts DC to ground, 2 circuits, positive voltage and a ground. And those all plug into the Ripos filter, which is right here. That's the electronics on the Ripos. So it's kind of a complicated system. It's more than just running 480 volts to it and getting the Ripos to work.
Right, the 12 CBC volt used to power out the panel, right? I mean the indicator, right?
Yep. Here's a copy of the indicator. I'm
Right.
not sure the indicator.
Yeah, that's for that one only. So.
Yeah. So basically, the indicator has, if you look at the code that's on here, you can have steady green, it's normal, so these 2 lights would both be on. Flashing green, you have a voltage problem. So if these green lights are flashing, then you have a voltage problem and there's an issue. Back pressure above normal, steady red. So if both of these are on a bright red, you have an issue. So that's the indication that and so when you're up there and these engines are running and you're doing your walk around, you can look at these and they're coming on and off and working like they should. But if these are on steady, you have a problem. And then if you have a back pressure below normal, the red lights start to flash. Below normal isn't a problem, it's above, if it gets above 27 inches.
27 inches.
Yeah, that's where it's gonna be. Then we have a pressure gauge down inside that's also monitoring that. And you can check your readings if you need to.